Okay, ladies, this is my last video. I haven't posted in so long, and now I'm going to hit you with a whole bunch of them back to back. Had a unique opportunity this weekend to go to our world famous Toledo Museum of Art near my area where I live at, and they recently acquired something that I don't know how to describe it except for if you're a quilter, a sewer, an art journalist, alter art person, this is a show you should probably go see. Um, it is called Finding My Voice, and the Toledo Museum of Art actually has purchased this from this artist who actually is a person that was raised in Ohio, and her name when she was a child was Brenda Lee Robinson. She is a probably a 71 or 72-year-old lady that basically has a background of slavery and was educated and taught art by her uncle. And her father made sure she knew how she was raised, where she came from, told her lots and lots of stories. So basically, what has happened is she compiled what she calls books. And what happened was she wanted to tell her stories of her life and her slavery background from her family and how the times were when she was raised in Ohio, how she saw all the things in civil rights, and actually she was in DC and was able to be on the march with Martin Luther King, how she went down there, what she sold to get there and stuff. But this had all started back in the 1980s. She decided that she was going to write books. She had gone to school for art and had done some work and some publications from illustrations and things, but she wanted to do something for her son's graduation gift from college and decided that she was going to go ahead and start these books. So she started making these books, and she decided to call them the Rag Mud Collection. Her actual name now is Aminah Robinson. She took that name, I believe, in the 1900s or 1990s. I forget what year she took that name on. But basically, this is a book that they do have for sale. And what they tried to do with this book, and this in itself is a piece of art. This lady has collected things through many, many years. Took her about 20 years to compile these 10 editions of this book. And basically, it's not the book in the book sense of a book. It is a combination of sewing, quilting, bordering, any type of mixed media that she could incorporate. She actually, to make some of her books, she made all of her own papers. A lot of it is on cardboard. And then she's got leather, she's got watercolor papers, and I can't just describe it. Just as if you are anyone that's really in art journaling, if you have a chance, it's going to be at the Toledo Museum of Art through, I believe, March of this year coming up. Just started at the end of October, so it's been there about a month. And it will be part of the permanent collection, but the major display is now on the glass pavilion. This is an actual book. She was in town last weekend or the weekend before. I wasn't able to attend it, and she was there and signed the books. And this is sort of how her first book looks like. This is the cover of it, only it's loaded with about 600 buttons. And this is all raised. And basically what this is, it just sort of lays out how the books were done. This is just a phenomenal way that they decided to do her collection as well, to sell this for the museum. And basically it's just her folk life growing up in Poindexter Village in Ohio. And this is a cover of one of the actual volumes of the books. You can see all the sewing that's involved, all the buttons. This lady must have accumulated her buttons by the thousands and beads and stuff. Apparently her home is still loaded with all this stuff. And just people donate it to her all the time. So the first book in this volume basically just goes through explaining what she did, how she did it, and why. And this is a little booklet with inside this. And this is what she does that's so phenomenal about her collection is you'll have this really big cloth book, and then all of a sudden this great big fan folded watercolor section pulls out, and it just is, I don't know, it's so hard to describe. But like here, this is volume 1. It's called Folk Life in Poindexter Village. And rather than have this in a box, she actually took time and made all this stuff using clothespins and made like a holder for it. And this is the actual book here. This is what the book looks like, but this is the way it looks like in here. And each of these little things are out of mud and rag and pig grease and stuff. And it's called rag mud. It was something that her father and her uncle showed her how to do when she was growing up. And it's just unbelievable how she did and what she did. Anything that she could take, she used. And as time went on, you could see she did get a little bit better with some of her supplies, but pretty well she just did what she could. So that's what volume 1 looks like. Volume 2 is also in that section. This is very hard to show you, but it shows you this is all how she made her carriers. That is all out of leather. This is another one of her books. This is volume 3. You would think it's all just materials, but then all of a sudden you open it up and there's a whole 30-foot section of watercolor where she's done watercolor pictures. This is volume 4. This was actually the leather container that volume 4 went into. This is volume 5 and 6, and this is absolutely phenomenal. This is very tall. It's all out of that clay again. She's got all these different figurines, and each of these figurines mean a different thing. And basically, quite a bit. There's toothpicks, there's everything imaginable that she picked up and collected to use in that area. And then volume 5 is called I just take walks, and then volume 6 is all about the homeless street people. This one is a phenomenal book, The Homeless Street People. Some of her stories. She's a phenomenal storyteller. Volume 7 basically is the life and work of African American woman. This is explaining how women in African America actually had to go through things. Volume 8 basically is called the Slave Epic. Volume 9, which I just unbelievable, everyday pages in history. In volume 10, she lived in Harlem at one point and 2, and that's what volume 10 basically shows. Just to show you some of her phenomenal artwork, this is part of the pull-out section on volume, I believe, 1. This is the artwork that's in there, which is just unbelievable how well her artwork is. This all pulls out, and like I was saying, the book is the same way that the real books are. They have these little pull-out sections. So even though this is a copy, a replication, they did a phenomenal job about getting this all together. What amazed me was she'd have these pages where she'd do these great big long pull-outs, but she'd stitch her watercolor paper together. And this is sort of another one here, Blackberry Patch. It's all about legends about her uncle and different things like that. This one is called Growing Up on Thorn, and this is all about the thorn patches and stuff like that. Another phenomenal thing. Here's about her father's journey. This thing is probably, I don't even know, 30, 40 feet long, about her family and all the stuff that's growing up and all of her artwork. And there's, I think, 14 panels, and it's just unbelievable. So if you really are into art journaling or quilting, try to get to the Toledo Museum of Art. And this lady, just unbelievable. She's won the Beard Award. She's won some other awards, but her storytelling is just something else. And her writing and her journaling. This is all about what they call the toe party. It's just, her stories even about that was funny how that's done. And then she came up with this little thing called Goopa. And what Goopa basically is a collection of whatever she wanted to put in it. So if she found something, she'd put it in her Goopa stash. And this book actually pulls out. And that's what's really neat. Even in all this interweaving, every once in a while there'd be something that pulls out of the front of the cover. And you just don't know what you're going to find. Now, the last volume that she had, which was called The Life and History of African Americans, she did complete this right before she had this. She'd already sold these to the museum, but she was able to incorporate just one part, and it was right before he got elected. It was all about Mr. Barack Obama, and she just could not believe how it was really going to finally happen. And as you can see, she was delivering this on January 30th, and she got this completed on January 20th before he got into the White House. So this book is just phenomenal. Just replication of what you can buy from the museum. It's the only place you can pick this up. Just basically, even that tells you a phenomenal story. Here you go. This is a cover of her time in Harlem. Just look at the amount of phenomenal buttons and the sewing that she did. And this is all hand sewed. This is no machine bound sewing. And how she came up with the ingenuity of how to put these together is just unbelievable. So, plug out to her, plug out to all the art journalists in the world. We have a lot to learn. This lady was art journaling before we start doing it. And this is not just art journaling, it's mixed medium journaling to the max, and sewing to the max, and quilting to the max. And just really impressed. I'll probably go back and see it. Believe it or not, this is free to get in to see this display. Most of the things are totally open to the public. You can't touch them, obviously, but the way they have them displayed is if they have a page open, at least you can see the back side of the front of the book. So it's just really great. And anybody's near Toledo, Ohio, get up to the museum and take this in. Have a great night. Bye.